I danced with the CEO's scarred daughter, and she said, "I won't forget you." Some moments last only a few minutes, yet they change an entire lifetime. I never expected that accepting one simple invitation on a bright Saturday afternoon would completely alter the path of my future. Looking back now, I realize that kindness often arrives quietly, without applause, without warning, and without asking whether you're ready for it. Before we begin, if you believe that kindness deserves a second chance in this world, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment telling us where you're watching from, share this story with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Kindness Forever. Your support helps us share more true-to-heart stories that remind people compassion still exists. My name is Rowan Hale. At 26, I worked as a part-time music instructor while volunteering every weekend at a community center that organized social events for burn survivors and children recovering from serious injuries. It wasn't glamorous work, and it certainly didn't make me rich, but it gave me something far more valuable than money. It reminded me that every person carries battles invisible to the rest of the world. One warm afternoon, sunlight poured through the enormous glass windows of the city's botanical pavilion. The charity had organized a daytime celebration filled with music, flowers, laughter, and hope. Families wandered between colorful gardens while volunteers welcomed guests with smiles that felt genuine rather than practiced. Everything seemed peaceful, yet I noticed one young woman standing completely alone beside a blooming cherry tree. A long silk scarf covered part of her neck, and delicate makeup couldn't fully hide the scars stretching across one side of her face. More painful than the scars themselves was the loneliness surrounding her. Groups looked toward her, then quickly looked away. Her name, I would later learn, was Celine Ashcroft. Almost everyone in the city recognized the Ashcroft name. Her father, Victor Ashcroft, was one of the country's most respected CEOs, known for building an international technology company worth billions. Newspapers admired his success, but very few people knew about the daughter he quietly protected from the public eye after a devastating house fire years earlier changed her appearance forever. As music drifted across the garden, couples slowly gathered on the dance floor prepared for the charity celebration. I noticed Celine watching everyone else dance while pretending she wasn't interested. It was the kind of expression someone wears after hearing no too many times in life. Without thinking about who she was or who might be watching, I simply walked toward her with a smile and offered my hand. For a brief second, uncertainty filled her eyes. She looked behind herself as though I must have been speaking to someone else. Then, after taking a slow breath, she accepted. The music wasn't loud. The dance wasn't perfect. The afternoon breeze carried flower petals through the air while children laughed nearby. We moved slowly across the polished wooden floor, surrounded by sunlight instead of spotlights. Nobody applauded. Nobody cheered. Yet something extraordinary happened. For the first time that afternoon, Celine smiled. Not the polite smile expected at public events. It was the smile of someone remembering they were still worthy of happiness. People around us gradually stopped whispering. Instead of staring at her scars, they watched two ordinary people sharing one ordinary dance. Sometimes the smallest act of acceptance speaks louder than the grandest speech. After the music ended, Celine quietly thanked me. She admitted that since the accident, almost nobody had invited her to dance. Many admired her family's wealth, but very few saw the person behind the scars. She said that afternoon felt like stepping into the sunlight after years spent hiding behind closed curtains. Before leaving, she looked at me with eyes filled with emotion and softly said that she would never forget me. I thought our paths had crossed only for a single afternoon. Weeks passed. Life returned to normal until one unexpected morning when I received an elegant envelope delivered to the community center. Inside was an invitation to visit the Ashcroft Foundation. Curious and slightly nervous, I accepted. When I arrived, I discovered something remarkable. Celine had convinced her father to expand the foundation's programs for people recovering from severe injuries. Instead of simply donating money, they wanted to create places where confidence could heal alongside physical wounds. She remembered the volunteer who had treated her like everyone else, and she believed thousands more deserved that same feeling. To my complete surprise, they asked me to help design those community programs. The following months became the busiest of my life. Together we organize music workshops, daytime family festivals, dance afternoons, art classes, and confidence-building events across several cities. People who once avoided mirrors slowly rediscovered reasons to smile. Parents watched children laugh again. Teenagers who had hidden beneath hoodies began making friends. Elderly survivors discovered they still had stories worth sharing. None of this happened because of wealth alone. It happened because one moment of kindness inspired another, until hope spread further than anyone imagined. Even Victor Ashcroft changed. Known throughout business circles as a serious executive, he gradually became deeply involved in every event. Watching families heal transformed him as much as it transformed everyone else. Success suddenly meant more than profits. It meant changing lives. Years later, I returned to that same botanical pavilion for another daytime celebration. The gardens looked just as beautiful beneath the clear blue sky. Only one difference stood out. The dance floor was full. Some participants wore visible scars. Some used wheelchairs. Some walked with prosthetic limbs. Some carried emotional scars nobody could see. Yet every single person danced without fear of judgment. Standing nearby, Celine watched the celebration with quiet pride. She no longer hid behind scarves or avoided cameras. She had learned something powerful, that courage isn't pretending pain never happened. Courage is refusing to let pain decide your future. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement today, leave a comment about a small act of kindness that changed your life, and subscribe to Kindness Forever so together we can continue spreading hope, compassion, and second chances. Special request, before this story ends, please comment one word, kindness. Your single word may inspire someone reading the comments to believe the world still has good people. As the afternoon sun painted the gardens in warm light, I realized that Celine had been right all those years ago. Neither of us forgot that dance. Not because it was perfect, but because it proved something far more important. Scars may change how people look, but genuine kindness changes how people live. Sometimes the greatest miracle isn't being rescued. Sometimes it's meeting one person who looks beyond your wounds and reminds you that your story is far from over.